Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so I hope the audio on this isn't too bad. I'll get to the art desk here in a second, but largely I just wanted to kind of like preface this with this has been a goal of mine for a long time to actually like have an art stream, and this is, you know, I'm pretty sure you're gonna hear every asthmatic breath, and I really apologize. I genuinely do, but I have not been able to get the. I mean, I've got filters and everything on this, so I don't know. I'm doing the best I can. Okay, well. This is my attempt to work through what used to be an art business worth of art supplies and, I guess kind of also show off my art, but also to kind of like give it a few ideas of if like myself, you're an art supply hoarder, you might have a way to avoid spending extra money this holiday season. 'Cause, I know that most of us don't have a lot of it, so yeah, let's get to it. All right, so I just wanted to kind of show a few examples of some of the art that I've done. This was actually a prototype for a logo from a while back. Until I realized that logos, for the most part, are now much smaller, more compact. So that is what it is. This is kind of just a sketch real quick of like a little cartoony style thing I did. I put it on watercolor paper because I think eventually I might want to like play around with, you know, doing some watercolors on it. These are a couple of finished pieces. This did actually, for a channel for a little while, get turned into an art, a logo. I really liked the profile piece of this, and I don't know, I really enjoyed the whole thing. Man, I'm struggling with my my artist signature. It's always something I've struggled with. And here's another piece. It came out okay. I didn't like it as much as the other one. This is probably best entitled Don't Do Still Lives if you don't have like a visual reference. Hey Rent, how's it going? But you can tell, and that there's definitely room for improvement along here. But I do like this paper, the toned paper, and I'm trying to remember what it is. Here we go. Strathmore, of course it is. Strathmore's good company. And I've got the toned tan, and of course I have, you know, toned gray. If you want to do anything with colored pencils, well, hello, Atlas. How are you doing today? These are some really good papers to use. And the thing I like about getting smaller sizes too, this is only a 6x8, is that it gives you enough space to really kind of explore different ideas without having to spend a huge amount of money. Or at least that was the idea, I will be perfectly admitting. Y'all let me know if the audio's too like out there or hard to hear or anything like that. Because I've got it filtered and I'm doing the best I can, but it's I'm using a lav mic so that I'm not tied down more than like the microphone or the headphones, which have an insanely long thing on them. So, all right. And then I have a few things that are just sketches that I was thinking of working on today, because absolutely everything, because I cannot live my life without scuff. Absolutely everything that I was going to show off today, all of the bits and pieces are shoved in places of varying locations all over the house. So, and I didn't have any help because poor Luna's not feeling well today, and Brendan has no idea. He's not an artist, so he's just like, I don't know anything about any of this. I don't know what to help you with. And I'm like, all right, that's legit. All right. So I have a little sketch here that I did just to kind of like explore. I love hair textures and I love drawing hair. So one of the things that I wanted to kind of like do with that was just sort of explore doing different textures with that. One of the things that I took away from art school, of course, is that whenever you have a chance, try and like draw botanicals, because they'll help you with your form and your shape, and making sure that you're able to competently, draw them. I am fairly certain I did not do the best job with this, but it was an interesting thing to like sketch around with. And then I have Dog Boy. I love just drawing dumb cartoons. They're like my favorite thing ever. Dog Boy is great. I'll ink him and color him in at some point. And then, of course, just like a little sword and thing. I was watching anime at the time, if it's not obvious. It's a little hard to see on camera at this angle. But, yeah. So that's just some of the things that I had in progress. And then, of course, I have my drawing board. One of the things that I like to do whenever I'm planning to do like a watercolor or any kind of project, because I am entirely too ADHD to stick to a single project until it's all the way done. And I don't like being tied down on my art desk. So what I will do is I will take one of these little boards here, and I will go ahead and tape down my image. Let me see if I can find something here. Get some of my washi tape. All right, so I take my washi tape and I go ahead and get it. I mean, of course, there's like professional masking tape, and I technically have some of that, but honestly, it's just too expensive for what it is. And this is all stuff that I got usually for fairly cheap, because honestly, it's pretty and it's fun. This isn't going to work as well on this end because I actually went too close to the edge over here. So what I do is I just sort of like pick it up and make sure it's at least tacked down a little bit on the side. That way I still have room there. And then I can just sort of tack this along this edge here. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to keep it from running like all over the place. That's pretty much it. Da-da-da-da. I promise not all of the music is sleepy music, but I decided I wanted to kind of a chill stream today because I have had a very not chill few days. What with losing all of my work I did. And then people being not well and so forth. So it's been kind of a struggle. All right, so Dog Boy, how do we want to ink you today? Because I have my tried and true travel ink pens that I have. I used to do. Got my brush pen. That's more of my. I've got that. Although honestly, this pen, if you can kind of see the point on it, is kind of precise, and I don't have the physical control that I used to be able to use that pen really anymore, which kind of sucks. But then of course I've also got my classic Copic micro liners. I do like my micro liners. They're fun. Especially for doing like textured works and things like that. It was considered for a while, especially in comics, weirdly enough, that it was unprofessional to use these types of pens because these are technically architectural pens. But I say just use whatever you've got and whatever's inexpensive to grab or that you like to use. So let me go ahead and I think we'll go ahead and start with that. So usually I like to go ahead and give it a fairly thick outline. So let me grab, but not too thick. Like a 0.3 is where I like to start. So, and then that's usually just grabbing all of the, you know, all the contours, because the thing that okay, so my technique is entirely built upon I'm gonna mess it up. Like I am entirely foreknowing that I am not capable of perfect inking technique. So I make sure that I have room to, you know, grab my contour shapes and everything, and then make sure that I have enough space to go in and add volume and textures and things like that later, because trying to do it all at once means that I will create something that's like unfixable. So you just go ahead and grab your contour shapes first. And as this relates to like being able to create GIFs or whatever, I really do like to kind of dig into my pile of unfinished things for GIFs. Because what it does is it kind of gives me stuff I've already started. And even if there's not something there, there's certainly something that I can get inspired by there and figure out like what I can create from that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and maybe bring the camera down just a little bit so that it's a little bit easier to see what I'm doing. I know the lighting isn't like super great, but I did not have a lot of money to set up the lighting for my studio, so I'm doing the best I can. Now, in general, the advice for inking is that you want to try and do it in as fluid a motion as possible. I don't have good hand control anymore, so trying to do everything in a totally fluid motion is actually kind of hard. So what I generally do is I just try to get as long a line as I can, and then try to find a good like blendable connection point. But I don't know if y'all noticed there, like I completely like made a line I wasn't meaning to do, but it doesn't matter because I can always just come back in here and just add a little bit more thickness to it. And then it looks intentional, or at least close enough to. think also I have to, one of the things I'm really bad at is that I know where all of the bodies are buried, as it were. Like, I know what I intended, and I know what I want it to look like, but nobody else does. Nobody else knows what this is supposed to look like, or what I intended for it to look like. Let's see if I can get a little bit more light on this. All right. Ah, crap. Okay. I forgot my pens were pretty much, I don't know. Some of my art supplies are maybe still good. Some of them may not. Just because it's been so long since I've consistently used them. But which kind of makes me sad in a way, because I have a lot of supplies in my hoard. Of course, to be fair, I used to run a hobby art business. I won't say I was like truly professional in any way. In fact, my entire art knowledge is extremely self-guided. I did go to art school, but I went to art school for film, not for this. So I'm gonna try and remember what the size of the thing is here. So I also move my stuff around a lot to make sure that I'm getting the smoothest, like most fluid line. So how have y'all been? It's nice to see you out here, Rent, because I know you've been struggling with sleep and stuff recently. I hope you've gotten some and rested. Okay, yeah, super. I heard about how busy you were with work. Oh my God. I'm gonna be honest with you. That is a lot. Like, I think I nearly got heart palpitations just listening to it. I would lose my shit. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope you get some rest soon. Maybe the sleepy music will help. Yes. You know what? From what you were telling me, Atlas, totally deserved. Totally deserved. I would honestly be a little disappointed in you if you didn't. Just on principle. Because, good Lord. Mouth breathing on and I feel like I'm sick. Yeah, I'm sorry, sweetheart. It is just, the air is so much drier. We're used to that The humidity is insane, and then when it stops being insane, it's almost like it's worse. Like, it's a normal amount of humidity today. It's like 60% humidity. It's not as astronomical, and it's not terrible. It's just sort of a normal amount. But when you're used to 80%, 90%, 100% humidity, it's a lot. For anyone who's watching who may not be as familiar with like comic inking or whatever, there's a reason why I hold all of my brushes and my pens, like I don't hold them up like this. Always hold it back here because it actually gives you more pivot and more control. You can get a longer line out of it when it's further away. Someday I'll get the lighting fixed so that the autofocus isn't like all wonky, but this is the best I can do for right now, I think. Yeah, there we go. All right. So one of the other things you want to try and do, and this is where I'm kind of struggling here, is you want to try and bring your line down as much as you can rather than drawing up. Okay. Try to feather the line at the end a little bit. And largely this is because the end of your lines are going to be heavier than the beginning of your lines. And so if you want to put weight somewhere, you want to try and put it near the end of your line rather than at the beginning. Now, granted, if you are an expert, then you can actually handle your line weights a lot better than I can. Because my line weights are not all that great anymore. Let's see. All right, so there's our basic contour lining. All right, and that's what we do with our 3. Now we're gonna go in and we're actually gonna thicken up some places that need to have a little bit more weight put in them. So rather than picking it up from the edge, what we would do is we just sort of pick it up from the middle here and then create more weight there. And then we're going to put a little bit of a point right there and then try to bring this back up. So that's how we can do some of that. Thicker your pen, the more fill you can get on it too. So just be aware that you don't want to try and fill in big spaces, obviously, with small pens. But like, I can get more texture like that. I want to create a little bit more. Now this is a little bit larger over here, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and put my 5 line down here at the bottom to create my weight. But to bring it in from the sides, because that's a larger space, I used to be able to do this. Let's see if I still can. This is a brush, so it does actually have a brush point on it. So the way that we would come in here and do this is that you want to, again, pull back. And let it fill in the bigger spaces. Now, I don't want to completely lose all the texture, so I'm not going to completely cover it. But I do want to not run my points down, because these little nylon nibs will in fact wear down really quickly. The other thing to watch out for is that, like, okay, so Copic, or Copic, I can never pronounce it properly. Their nylon nibs are nice and springy, but they have a tendency to wear down, and they also do this thing where they choke it back. So it makes it a little bit harder for me to have control over it. Whereas the Sakura, if you notice, the shank on this is longer and the actual nib part is smaller. So while it gives you less flexibility, it means that you have more control. So, but I want to kind of go a little bit crazy with this. So I just want to just kind of like see what kind of texture I can get out of this. I know this is a fairly thin brush point here, but so we're gonna make his sleeves black, but we still want to keep a little bit of separation between that and the cuff. So the way that we'll do that is we'll just put a very thin kind of like contour highlight line in. Oh, no worries. Whatever you gotta do, I appreciate it. I appreciate any views on my stream. I know a lot of people do art streams basically talking to themselves. And I was fully prepared to do that today because I had no idea who was gonna have the time or the energy to deal with my doing arts. So we're gonna kind of put some there, just to kind of and kind of get this started over here. If anybody has any questions about any of the materials that I'm using or any of the techniques or anything that I'm doing, I'm just starting with cartooning because it's the thing that, like, I know how to do the most, and so it's kind of my way of like working through nervousness sort of thing, because I'm not used to having even so much as like bits of like my hands or anything on screen, so this is a different vibe for me. I'm gonna go ahead and get these thickened up here because I want to increase the line weights there. Normally I would wear a glove or something to keep from picking up ink. But this is mainly just like a sketchbook type activity to kind of warm up with. The idea I actually had for today was I wanted to kind of show one of the ways that you can, if you want to make, like, I understand that a lot of people don't have time, so I'm not necessarily advocating that absolutely everyone has to, but if you have the time, or if you just want to have something a little bit more special. There are a lot of people in my life, like I have a relatively big family, and I know I'm terrible. I don't always make gifts or send gifts to all of them because I just don't have the money, and we don't really see each other all that often. But one of the ways that I can kind of get around or mitigate some of that is the years that I have energy. And I don't always, but you know, this year I seem to have a little bit more than most. Is what I will do is I will send what is essentially a card gift, right? So what that means is that it's basically just a card, but like I've attached a little painting or something to the front of it. So it operates as though I have essentially sent a gift, but I was able to do something small and do something personal and something a little bit more detailed to the person that I'm sending it to, as opposed to just buying a pack of cards. If you are a person who buys a pack of cards, more power to you. I understand how hard it is to deal with time constraints and so forth, and especially if you have a very large family, then, or a lot of people that you're sending stuff to. Get whatever you got to get. Do whatever you got to do. I am hardly the one to judge. But if you do have that extra time, it is worth it, I feel, to make something a little bit more personalized. And especially as it usually keeps me from having to buy something a little bit more expensive. Now, granted, I get to cheat because, again, I have massive amounts of art supplies that other people don't necessarily have. So I can make cards for my family, and it will not, break my bank. Because I will fully admit, if I were to go back and price out everything that I've spent previously, it definitely would come to more money to make cards than it would be to just buy them. Because that is in fact the economic power of mass manufacturing. I get so frustrated whenever people try to pull the whole, it's so much cheaper to make it yourself. Okay, maybe, sometimes, perhaps, a few things, but not everything, not everything. In fact, most of the time, making it yourself is actually more expensive. Yep, I said it, it is. However, if you have the time and the money and you do not want to give some billionaire your money, which, hey, count me in that category, then, take the time and make it yourself. One of the projects I was going to show is actually LinoCut. Why? Because LinoCut is like a small version of mass production, essentially. Because what you're doing is you're creating a reverse print stamp, and at that point you can just get decent quality paper, or even just regular paper, it doesn't matter, construction paper. You can get like layered construction paper, and you can just do lino cuts and stamp them for your family and have something kind of cool that's unique and different. But you only had to make the lino cut once, and then you just ink it, and then you can stamp it as many times as you need to. And then you personalize it from there with whatever techniques you want to use. You can just use things like, you can use gel pens. Gel pens are great. I have a ton of them. They're a lot of fun for adding details to stuff. And they're not hugely expensive to buy if you don't have them. And of course, they're eminently reusable. I am about to break out to color this art supplies that they're not cheap. Another thing I was going to show is that, like, okay, so styrofoam. Here's a bit of styrofoam that I got from packing material. I don't know if you've ever, like, pressed into this, but you know that it can create, like, a really cool texture. You can actually even carve into it a little bit if you happen to have, like, heat tools or anything like that. And so you can actually create a stamp or a texture stamp from just, I mean, it's a little messy, but I mean, art's meant to be messy. You can create different stamps from this. Like, get a ended thing here, and then you can press into it, and then that has created like a divot there, and you can create different patterns. The best way to deal with it is heat tools. If you happen to have soldering irons, or if you happen to have like heat irons of any sort around the house, that's going to be the most effective, like, really cool tool to, like, do it. But here's another very interesting way to get, like, cool textures is you can use super glue. Super glue's not super expensive, but you can literally just, like, drop it in different patterns on your styrofoam and then ink this with either acrylic paint or whatever. You stamp it, and then you stamp it, and then you can create different textures. It's one of the things that I like about, and that's a found material, so you don't even have to, like, buy that. Pretty sure most people have something like that around their house. All right, so what color does Dog Boy need to be? I think that he might be maybe a brown pupper, because I've got hazelnut, and then copper is not going to come out exactly the way that I want, but maybe a little bit of light suntan. Yes, these are Copic markers, because I used to do commissions at conventions, and one of the fastest way to color them is to have Copic markers, because they dry very quickly. Most of the I tried doing digital art, but I'm so bad at digital art. So instead, for traditional artwork for comics and stuff, I would create I would do watercolors. Okay, these don't work too badly on this paper. That's nice to know. Strathmore is usually pretty good about being able to take different mediums, which is nice. But yeah, while there were some brave souls who were a lot more skilled than me, and, well, a lot less clumsy, who would be able to manage to bring their watercolors and their watercolor setups to do commissions at conventions. That was not me. I was much more of a, I just invested in the brush-ended, like this, doing the brush Copics. So I could do something that was similar to a painting style, but that was not exactly watercolor, and it was a lot easier to carry these around than it was watercolors. I have no idea. I would show off some of my old comics, but honestly, I don't know where any of them went. I've moved the office in my house like so many times at this point. I'm just trying to build some texture so that it looks more like fur, I guess. Normally I would use a texture which would flatten, which is where you kind of swirl like this. But because I actually do want this stratification here, so that it feels a little bit more like fur, I'm gonna kind of like just swipe it a little bit more across and try not to get it to blend too much. And so there, that should create sort of like a velveteen sort of texture across. It's been a while. So and here's where I do my party trick. All right, you have a good one, Rent. Let's see if I can still do this. Yeah, I can still kind of do it. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I love ink. I love ink a lot. So it's, most of my stuff just winds up staying in the ink, you know, territory. But I also really love watercolor as far as colors go. It's my favorite to work with. I used to do acrylics, but acrylics don't translate to comics as easily. And so I kind of kept acrylics in more like my crafting. So like for when I would paint things for practical use around the house or whatever. But yeah, no, I spent entirely too much time just focusing on pencil and ink. So honestly, all of this is a process of me forcing myself out of whatever like niches that I had stuck myself in, because I have the absolute worst habit of getting bored and then just not doing art, as opposed to just mixing it up and going crazy and just doing something a little different. And I find that that's actually the key. If you want to break yourself out, or you want to kind of like force yourself to do more art, is that, at least for me, it's definitely the process of just find something new to do, you know? Just play around with it. I watched a video recently where an artist was saying basically that art should be play. And I was like, oh my God, so real. Because I think that was also the problem with when I turned my art into a business, is I made the mistake of forgetting that the whole point was that I was supposed to be playing. and I wasn't supposed to be taking it so seriously. But the minute that it got serious was the minute that I stopped really wanting to do anything unexpected or different. But yeah, as far as like starting to add color or anything to work, you don't even have to start with these. Honestly, I've kind of been like, I'm using these because I have them left over, but I also grabbed some Ohuhus, which are like a third the cost of Copic markers, and honestly, I don't love the capping system to them, mind you. We got a really cheap, like, set of them. Let me grab them over here. And I did not spend, I think I spent 30 bucks. 30 bucks, and I got like 42 of them, maybe more. So they were just over $1 per, which, quite frankly, if you're used to Copics, let's just, yeah. So getting something like this where it's not super expensive to just try it out, and I think that's also, color is where the cost starts to kind of come into. So like I know that that's a big turnoff for people. Yeah, is that not only is color theory hard, you know, but it's also like color is expensive. Oh yeah. The boredom problem, especially as an ADHD person, is like the worst. That's the hardest to deal with, because then like there's all your motivation. All right, so just to kind of give an idea, I mean, these blend just as well, if not better, honestly, than Copics. So I really like them. This paper is not super blendy. It's very, like, I put it down on the page and that's where it lives, which is fine. One of the things I like to kind of like mess around with different techniques anyway. Okay, so here's my secret weapon when it comes to alcohol markers and stuff like that. This is literally a bottle of 90% alcohol. So I have it marked with a little A on the top, and so what you can do is literally spray your work with alcohol, and then that lets things blend in smooth. I mean, it smells terrible. Don't get me wrong. If you don't love the smell of alcohol, it is a trip. However, it will definitely allow you to kind of like, especially, you notice how everything got lighter. So essentially what I'm doing with this technique is that I'm allowing myself to layer more colors into the paper without it getting super saturated with a single color. It also kind of gives it a more watercolor look, which is much more like to my style, because my style, of course, is very watercolor. So I can kind of like blend out a lot of these more harsh like colors just by spraying everything down with alcohol, and it just sort of blends it all out. Yeah. It's the same thing that I would do for like really quick backgrounds for watercolor stuff is I have another spray bottle that is literally just filled with water. And so when I'm wetting down everything, so I wet down all my watercolors and I wet down my paper. And then that way when I'm doing wet into wet technique, it's just super easy. Like I don't have to worry about flooding the paper. I don't have to worry about getting too much. I can more precisely control where it is and how it's going. So yeah. This will also fix problems with certain papers that don't want to let your blending happen. So I don't know if you can see, it's a little dark, but some of this marker, because it's blending two different formulas in together, is not wanting to necessarily blend as smoothly. So when I come over it with the Copic, because it's got the alcohol already in the paper, I can pick it up from where it was before, and and it just soaks it in much nicer than it was before. And you notice that that's now a much flatter, covering of color than I was getting before with this technique up here. So now I can kind of come in and still use the same swiping technique to get the variations in texture, but it will kind of spread itself out more. It also means that the colors, as you notice here, like the transition between the two browns, winds up being a little bit smoother. All right, I want to try and put some decent shadows in here. I would love to see some of your pen and ink drawings sometimes, at some point, Atlas. I think that would be really cool. Okay. Maybe it'll inspire you to do some more of it, because quite frankly, more art is always better. The world needs more art. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially when everything goes to shit, the best thing to do is just make art, make something out of it. I need to kind of be careful, because I'll be honest with you, my revolutionary ideas are very definitely tied to, art and art creation. Probably the coolest thing that I've heard recently is Ireland actually did some they did like I think it was a several year long test, and they discovered that, believe it or not, and I totally believe it, that investing in artists and allowing them to just create, especially in a way in which they're not required to have to produce, right? Actually allows the entire country benefits. So they've decided to implement a universal basic income for artists. And so so long as you have bona fides of some sort, I don't know what the exact details are, but yeah, artists get paid. It's not a lot, it's not like a massive amount, but they found out that okay, that's not going to come through that, so that's fine. I'll just go ahead and saturate this piece so I can lay down the next color to get the color up, because I want a big pink nose on my boy here. So let's try, it's not quite. Okay, that's fine. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. But yeah, they found out that for every dollar that they put into supporting artists, they got $1.30 or €1.35 back. So there's a significant investment and return on investment that happens when you invest in artists. So, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's your culture. Your art and the art that's created by the artists in your culture is literally your culture. And it's one of the things why I get so frustrated about what's going on here is that we're not investing in the arts. We're not investing in people. We're investing in corporations. And corporations produce products. They don't produce culture and art. At least not in a way that benefits everyone. Because, like, yeah, Disney produces art and television and stuff like that, technically. But what they wind up kind of producing out of it is for the benefit of Disney, not really even for the benefit of the people watching Disney. Which is disappointing. Is art really should be something that we all get to benefit from. I'm gonna be honest with you, I was so heavily disappointed when I learned that Disney is basically going to become another AI studio. Deep sigh. Anyway. I know, it's so deeply disappointing because I'm just like, you have all of this imminent power, all of this, you know, all of the everything. You have all of the everything, and you're gonna basically turn it into AI slop. And the worst part of it is that the bubble on it is going to burst sooner rather than later. And I'm like, and all of this is gonna go with it. All of this is just going to explode. And And they have the power to stop it. I mean, that's like the part that's so frustrating about it, is that there are a lot of companies that I can, you know, look at and go, well, I mean, that you chose to make a poor decision is one thing, but I can understand from a perspective of, you know, not having the resources, not having the money to pay artists, or whatever BS excuses you want to come up with. I can, all right, fine. But Disney has no excuse. None. Zero excuses. There's no reason for it. There's nothing you can say that justifies it. There's nothing that makes it okay. All right. Boy, you can cute. Looking cute. All right. Let's go for some unrealistic colors, because why not? I like green eyes. Pops nicely with the russets. All right, and here's where, let's see, where is it? Do I still have them? I guess I do, maybe, perhaps. Oh, not that one, those two. Here we go. All right, so the hardest thing to remember, and then I'm trying to remember to remind myself about alcohol and alcohol markers, is that they lay down darker than they will dry. And it doesn't take them that long to dry and come up to the next color. So, I mean, let's see. I'm just sort of playing around with tools at this point. I think that might be fairly obvious. Maybe a little shock of yellow. Just because I don't normally use it. I'm not a fan of yellow. But every now and then it has an appropriate usage. Okay, here we go. This is the hazelnut. I'm just waiting for my next like strike from Twitch because, quite frankly, I pay money every month just so that I can have access to copyright or royalty free. I should more precisely say, because it is copyrighted. It's just royalty free. Music for me to use for my streams. And the last time that I just did a stream test, I got muted by Twitch. It's like, what do you want from me? I'm doing all the things. Pretty sure that my wife is on her way home at this point, so we'll see how it goes. She gets home and finds me streaming, because I was technically supposed to like stream yesterday, but still in the process of getting stuff done. All right. I might have to switch over to one of my other music collections, because I'm gonna be honest with you, the sleepy music is kind of getting to me. It's like, don't you want to just go take a nap? Would a nap sound lovely right now? Yeah, actually it would. Color should I make his shirt? He seems like a ball game guy. He seems like maybe he's wearing like a sport type shirt. All right. Thanks, Atlas. I appreciate you. Maybe I should go with the theme of colors I don't normally love. So maybe try like an orange. Orange is not my favorite, but I don't know. Actually, you know what? Blue. I think I'm feeling in a very blue mood. I think he needs a blue shirt. I think blue would work for him. Yep. Have a good one. Yeah. Everything's on like a gray tone anyway, so being blue tone's probably good. I am probably not going to stream for very long today. Largely, I just wanted to like make sure that I came on, did the thing. I believe in momentum. I believe in even when it's hard, even when it's not perfect, just do the thing. Just get it done. Because otherwise, you'll never do it. The joys of ADHD. Overthink everything. And those striations really do show up way better on camera than they do in real life. It's like your eyeballs kind of tend to blend them out in real. But on the camera picks that shit up. It's like, oh, you thought you were hiding. You didn't hide shit from me. Alright, we're picking it up a little bit more now. Yeah. Alright, so but yeah, next time I'm gonna try and get my setup so that I can actually show the printmaking, because I think that's what I'm gonna do for cards this year. I kind of want to get everybody together on HJP so that we can actually get like a card exchange type thing going. I think that would be really fun. Let's see, I've got black there. Let me go ahead and, just for curiosity's sake, this is literally just warm up. So this is me reminding myself that it's okay to fuck up. Basically, it's okay to mess up. It's okay not to be perfect. It's okay to just do something fun. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, because we're just having fun. Oh, oh goodness. Oh, that's, oh crap. Okay. Shit. That's super not awesome. I'm gonna have to toss that out. Apparently it has depressurized, and I just about sprayed ink all over everything. Move that out of the way. Unfortunately, like, my drawing board is particle board, so it's gonna pick up ink and it's basically gonna suck it up. So and that's me putting my my markers back up, because I am a little bit obsessive about making sure that stuff gets put up so I don't lose it. There's no way I can afford to replace any of this stuff right now. Like, there is zero way. All right, so that's our little warm-up piece done, for what it is. Our goofy boy. Oh dang, my blood sugar is getting low. I may not be able to stay on for very long. All right. Let's go ahead and maybe give this a decent background. What we got? You know what, actually, let's go with something a little bit different, because I've got all these colored pencils down here. I am so mad at these Staedtler pencils. I do not like them whatsoever. I don't know why I got them. I think I was just trying something out, and I need to kind of separate them out so I'm not accidentally grabbing them. Let's see. All right, we want something in between the blue, and honestly, I kind of want something that's like a little bit neon, or maybe something that like pops a little bit for our background. Well, we got our Prismacolor Verithin, so. And I like those for adding like particular types of texture in the background. Here we go. All right, so let's do something that's like a little bit green, a bit yellow. So rather than doing like a full like coating everything sort of stuff, I just sort of do this, and then you come in here and you just sort of blend over it, and then go a different direction. It's okay. I mean, it's definitely coming across neon. Or at least on the camera it is. You know what? I think I have an idea of what I want to do with this. Let's go ahead and just sort of do like a vague crosshatch there, and then we'll put the yellow in it like that. To be honest, I've seen this technique used. I've never done it before, so I'm probably doing it wrong, to be fair. But I just thought I would play around with it because I wanted something that would kind of like create like a pop. And if nothing else, one of the other things I'm going to do over it is I've got some gel pens, and I think what I'll do is I'll just pop some gel pen over the top of it and maybe create like a weird graffiti type background. I think that might be fun. I'm a little frustrated that I don't have my setup. I really want to do the printmaking because the last time I did the lino print stuff, well, I was in college, and I did it for being able to create like quick posters for events and things like that we were doing. So. It has been a hot minute. I thought that might be kind of cool. To be fair, we actually don't celebrate particularly holidays here. We do like a solstice type celebration. More like a pagan sort of holiday, where we focus on making sure that we get kids books. Everybody gets like one thing. We're not really into the heavy capitalistic Christmas, and it's fine. I mean, you know, people do what they do, and I think part of it also comes down to is like, I don't know if it's ADHD or what, but I'm just not that. I don't like you can only get gifts, or that we have to focus on getting gifts at one time a year. And I suppose that would have made sense like way back in the day when people used to get like Christmas bonuses and stuff like that. But Christmas bonuses don't really exist anymore, or at least not as far as I've seen. In fact, every single time that my wife has gotten bonus from a company, it has been in springtime. So like, that makes it's not the same thing. So it's like, I'm not gonna put myself in debt and pay massive amounts of money for stuff and put it on credit cards and things like that, because that just doesn't sound like a good idea to me. I don't want to live that life. So instead, we just wait until the bonus actually comes in, and then that's when we make our large purchases and repairs around the house and that sort of thing. And then for solstice, we focus more on spending time with each other. We play board games and we play video games together, and we just try to focus on spending time together. All right. So now I've got my background there of that. So now I'm just gonna play around with stuff. Got a bunch of gel pens, it's a bone folder. Why is that there? That makes no sense. Why are you there? All right. And then I have a ton of, ooh, this is cool. Let me see how this is gonna look. I'm just going to create some scribbles. Scribbles here. And then good eater, because why not? Put a glitter pin back here. That's fun. Lots of purple, because of course, purple. Let's see how the neon green actually shows up. Ooh, I like that. That's fun. Yeah, I don't know how well it shows up on the camera, but that's actually kind of cool. You get the pops of the neon in the background. Like IRL, this is pretty cool looking, honestly. I know it's kind of like all over the place, but I don't know, I kind of like it. Kind of like it all over the place. It's kind of fun. It's like freeing to just sort of put stuff on paper and not have to like make it make sense. Just kind of do stuff. I have a friend whose art style is very much this. It's just a little more all over the place than mine is. And I love it so much because I can't bring myself to do it. Okay, good. I'm glad it's showing on the camera. Fairly decent. Because I just really love this. I don't know. I just love this. This is so much fun. Yeah. Kind of get a little bit of a close-up on it. Oh, I like that. That's kind of fun. I like that. That's a lot. Cool. That makes me happy. All right. Now for the most satisfying part. It's time to pull all the tape off. See what happened to our edges. Probably not anything like super satisfying, but let's see. Ooh. It's actually kind of a nice crisp edge. Let me get that off there. Let me pull this down. Ooh, I like that. That's nice. Okay, that's pretty cool. Let's start with something interesting. That's kind of cute. All right, well, one more thing in the sketchbook, I guess, or off to the side. One of the things don't need to stick that there. One of the things that project-wise I wanted to kind of work on is, so I have this thing. Again, a thing I bought ages ago. Let me go ahead and lift up the camera so you can kind of see a little bit better. Ages ago, ages ago, I bought this as a chalkboard because I'm glad you like it. Yay! And I was like, hey, you know, at the time I was like, oh, I'm going to use this obviously for keeping, you know, notes and take. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Absolutely never happened. Never happened. So instead, it has sat here, taking up space, because that's how most of my shit works, is it just takes up space. And so I had this idea though, is that rather than trying to use it like an actual chalkboard, what I could do is I could actually turn this into a broadcast board. And now of course it's an elaborate idea and I don't know how well it will completely come off, but before I swore off buying more shit, I bought these Ohuhu paint markers. So I was like, ooh, hey, what I could do is I could sketch out on design and I could actually have like, you know, one of those things where we could like mark whether or not we're broadcasting that day or not. And that way the kids will know whether or not they can come in or out from our space. So I was like, hey, that could be kind of cool. So I don't know if I'll have time to actually finish it, But I figured I'll go ahead and I'll just sketch out a design that I want on this. Let me put stuff up real fast and make sure I'm not making a mess, because I have a bad habit of making a mess. Putting all my stuff everywhere. Clean up after myself a little bit. All right, so of course this is all scuffed up, and so it's kind of perfect for if I don't do it right or if it messes up, then I'm not gonna be sad about it. And that's kind of like my favorite things to work with is stuff that I don't really care. So one of the things I'm gonna do, try to give myself a good guideline to go off of, is I am going to go ahead and I have this nifty little stationery thing here. It's kind of fun to watch yourself like sharpen your pencil. And so I still want kind of a blunt tip. I don't want to get into too many details. I just want to do something kind of general. So the main point of focus is going to be down here. So of course, because we're both like that, I figure I'll do like a little skull type thing down here, because of course I will. And then we put, well, it's looking more ghost-like, honestly. But this is why you use the chalk, is so that you can just rub it off. So let me think how I want to kind of like do this. So if we circle here and then like that. All right, Luna's art style, of course, is, in my opinion, like, I know it's cartoony, but it's way better than mine. And mine is very like some sort of weird mix of like old school. I got taught by standard art, traditional art teachers in high school, and like I had to take a couple of art classes in college, sort of thing. So whereas Luna's is like entirely her own like self-guided, I followed people that I really liked, and I just sort of like created something cool out of that. And God, I'm so envious. It's so good. All right, so let's do some like picture type plants here. I am going off of memory, which is the thing that you really should not do. You should always draw from reference, if you can, especially for botanicals and things like that. But I'm really more focused on just placement at this point than anything else. I'm just trying to kind of like figure out where I want things to kind of go. So that I can figure out the best place to or how I want to kind of like put in different things here. All right, so I'm thinking can actually create like vines over here, and then put like some floral embellishment type stuff. Actually go and put some stuff there. I don't know how easy this is to see, because like the whole point is that it's not supposed to be very easy. to look at or to see, because it's going to be painted over. Looks like we've come to the end of our playlist, so give me 1 second to go ahead and get the music started up. I'm gonna go back to, you know what, I'm thinking I need something with like a little bit of energy to it, so yeah, there we go. This is some energy going. Da, 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 da. Very 80s. But lots like a little leaf lake shapes and stuff. Do little ones. Get some thickness to these vines. All right, well, that's good to know. You can see it, because yeah, I know the lighting setup that I have is not like, it's not great. I need to kind of focus on where I actually put my camera. But at one point, I did actually have a very nice, very expensive light kit, and my kids, unfortunately, when they were taking it down, wound up breaking it. So I'm kind of having to make do. I don't know about that. Now, I think maybe instead I'll go with like about peony type shapes. So like it comes up like that, like that, like that. And then, no, I don't think I like it that close. All right, so maybe I should bring this down a little bit further into the edge, I think. Come on. There we go. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. And then because it's Luna, I know I need to put some mushrooms in here, so let me get some mushrooms going. These shapes over here. Ooh. What do we think about crystals? Maybe some crystal shapes. See how good I am at drawing my geometries. I heard mushrooms, yep. I have called forth the child. I don't know. You know what? There's part of me that just wants to not even bother with like the practical end of this and just turn it into like a big like death mushroom type piece of artwork with like random stuff. I don't know. I'm kind of very into the idea of just playing around with things lately. Not having to be so intentional with stuff, I guess. I mean, obviously it's intentional, but it's like... practical considerations notwithstanding sort of thing, I guess. Yeah, that's not correct. All right, so this. Again, I should probably be working from some sort of reference. Although, I think I'm doing okay for not having any reference. I don't know. Mushroom lady, how mushroom person, like, how am I doing? Void Kitty Luna. For anyone who might not be aware, Void Kitty Luna is in fact my oldest child, and so they are well aware of my weird proclivities. And so I'm not calling them out randomly. It's actually a very intentional call out. Thank you very much. And they're doing what all good children do, ignoring me. So it's good. All right, good to know. Good to know, yeah. Yep. That's taking a lot more brain power than I thought drawing straight lines. So do you have a favorite type of mushroom that you would like for me to incorporate? Inky caps? Might have to look that up. Let me grab my phone real quick. Ooh, those are cool. Okay. All right. So let me put this over here. And try to reposition this. And then then I've got to put another one back here because they like to group up apparently. And it needs to go back a little bit further. And then I think this is supposed to be a little bit longer, a little bit thinner. Okay. Trying to think what else I want to put in this. You know what? I could just be stereotypical as hell and just put like a, yeah. Let's see. And then I want to kind of mark center Because the idea is that I want to put a light here that would wind up like turning on and off as like we do our streams and stuff. I'll go ahead and lift that up so you can kind of see as much of the whole thing as possible. What do we think about that composition? I think the left side is stronger than the right side. I'm gonna take a quick tea break. Y'all stare at that. Think hard. All right. So at this point, basically what we do is we would just take like a paintbrush and just sort of knock it down some. I'll make it a little bit smeary, but this is the same concept as when you do watercolor paintings and you do like an under sketch. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. I think for I'll start with a mid green. I'm gonna see how this works. Oh, where'd it go? My loud as hell thing. Oh, all right. So palette for making sure that I've got things working with these pens, because I'm not entirely certain how they're supposed to perform. So we'll see. Because there's no way to like press down. Okay. So we shall see how it goes. Ooh, that is bright. That is a very bright green. Maybe it will darken up when it dries. But yeah, that is, wow, that is a lot brighter than I expected it to be. Let me try another. Let's try this darker green. See if it's less neon. Okay. That's not too bad. I'll see how that comes out. So have y'all gotten to play Grounded, Luna, anytime recently? Oh, try not to put the heel of my hand into it. It doesn't look like it dries too fast, so I actually have a little bit of working time. That's good. Go ahead and... Okay, well that's fair. I mean, you know, plans are good, but plans are always adjustable. It's like I think I still have, yeah, I have Fight Club tomorrow, which is going to be super fun. I still haven't decided what fight to do, though. I'll admit, my creativity on that's kind of lacking. Ooh, what if I turn this into like a big like thing with like teeth? How cool would that be? I wonder if that would be, if I can make that work. Let me see. What if, oh yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and go for like a red over here. Well, this is more of an orange, but it's fine. Ooh. Okay. Ooh, that's bright. I kind of like that as a base. Kind of do that there. I don't really have like a straight red on this. That's crazy. All right. So I guess I will have to go with like more of a pumpkin color, I guess. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Didn't actually. It's kind of an interesting thing here, but I want to see with this. trying to sketch with paint pens, so I don't know how well this is gonna come out, but I'm gonna try. I mean, these seem to be fairly opaque so far, which is nice. All right. The only thing is it's hard to kind of get line thickness out of this. Ooh, that's kind of neat. I kind of like that. That's kind of cool. That's cool. I like that. That's neat. That is very neat. I like that. That's fun. Get a little bit closer just to see the details. All right, that's kind of neat. I like that. Carnivorous plant. Looks like my wife has arrived at home, which is awesome. Okay, so this dries a lot darker than it looks initially, so that's good to know. Okay, so yeah, because you can kind of, well, let me move all these things out of the way, because apparently I pulled this down too far. Can't see anything. But yeah, it is a lot darker, the vine part now. I mean, it's got some reflective quality to it, so it's showing up a lot better on the camera than it is in person. Because in person, it is much darker. that's pretty cool, because then that means I can kind of just come in like this and just kind of drag it down. Drag that down. Ooh, kind of like that. That looks pretty cool. I am having a lot of fun with this. This is nice. It is always so interesting to me, though, how things pick up on camera versus how they look in real life. Because the way that this looks on camera and the way that this looks in real life is almost not even related. Because, like, it is so much darker in real life. My eyes pick it up as much more matte, much more dark. Of course, right now, honestly, this is just sort of I'm trying to give people the idea of how stuff works. These colors are, I don't know, they're relatively true, but they're not super exact. I am using a capture card of not the highest quality, admittedly. Someday that will be rectified, but that will not be a day that is anytime soon. Most likely. That's okay. All right, so we have our one man-eating plant. Which I love. That's awesome. Alright, so let's see if we can get these inky caps, because they're going to be a little hard because they are kind of grayish. And I do have some grays here, but I don't know how well they're going to show up. Let's find out. Let us see. Alright, so this is going to probably start out. See, this feels like the perfect in-between for me, because my painting and drawing, to me, like, use up completely different parts of my brain. And this allows me to kind of use my drawing inking brain, so I don't feel like I'm switching off that much, which is nice. I probably should go back in with an actual paintbrush with these. So I'm gonna not finish this because it's hard to tell on camera, but in real life I can tell that it's not really filling it out very well. It's really good for details, but it is not good for fill, really, kind of at all, which kind of sucks. But that's cool because in a way, because it means that I can kind of like just put in details with this which gives me a little bit more control than, especially on a surface like this, where maybe using a brush or whatever is not going to be as perfected, I suppose. Yeah, go get yourself fed. Take care of yourself. I will see you later. Have a good one. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Concentrating a little bit too much anyway. I need to probably go see about food soon too, actually. Yeah, I'm actually coming pretty close to my time that I thought I was going to be streaming, so I'm getting close to the end. I should have known I probably wasn't going to finish this today, but that's okay. At least I got started. I mean, you know, that's more than I've done previously, so can't be too mad at it. All right, I'll try to get this other vine taken care of. So. I don't know how well this is translating, but I mean, botanically speaking, it's a bunch of plants that would never, like, be anywhere near each other in a natural setting, you know, obviously. But, I mean, you know, they look nice together, I suppose. This is coming off way more orange than it actually appears on in real life, so... I may just wind up in. Next time I come at this, it'll probably not be with these pens. It'll probably be with a brush, just so I can get in here and get some, like, really good details and stuff. Because, I mean, these are fun to play with, but I think a brush would probably be better for what I'm trying to do. Anyway, yeah, that came out way more white than I expected it to. Let's see. Well, no, I actually need this to be white, so let's go ahead. Should have painted it first. I always forget about acrylics. I'm so much more like watercolor minded that I'm all about leaving the white spaces and I forget about them. On acrylic, you want to do the opposite. That's okay. We'll at least get our contour painting down, or get our lines, and then I'll come back in and work twice as hard, apparently, because I just realized that I'm setting myself up for failure. I'm so smart. Oh my god, so not used to doing this particular type of painting. I haven't used acrylic, like, consistently in, oh god, years. Like, I started out doing acrylic painting. Yeah, this tends to pick itself up a lot, which is not great, but on the bright side, at least acrylic is opaque, so that means that if I do happen to go over any part of this, I can always just come back in with the next color and cover it. The only thing I have to be careful of right now is that it's also picking up the not completely dried color, and so it's starting to create a blend. That's annoying. Alright. Guess we're just gonna dab this in here and hope for the best, huh? Alright. Yep, and now I've picked up the green. Okay. Alright. Oh, that's freaking annoying. Because apparently if you pick up colors, they have a hard time getting off, which is frustrating. Okay. Huh. Oh, that's gonna need a repaint. Okay, at this point I think I can just go ahead and I'm supposed to be dual streaming rather than single streaming, but I don't know how things are going through YouTube right now. So all I get is something went wrong. So I suppose that tells me everything that I need to know. Yeah. Yeah, so this is where the project got to. This was the warm up today. So, which was kind of fun, doing a little thing there. It's kind of interesting texture on the background. I like it. I mean, I'd like to say that at this point I have ideas for stuff. I'm thinking that maybe it might be better for my art stream to just say that rather than doing GIFs or doing anything in particular, that I'm just sort of hanging out and just sort of doing art. So we shall see how it go. All right. But it is about that time. So the music has ended. It is time to head out. I bid you all adieu. Thank you so much for coming and joining me to do my art today. I appreciate it. It's been pretty fun, actually. I got to play with some stuff that I'd spent money on, and now I kind of know how they work better than I did before, which is nice. And I got to kind of play around with stuff I haven't played around with in ages, which is also nice. And maybe I'll finish some stuff on the next stream. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. I appreciate it. And I will see you all later. Bye-bye.